指揮官、問題あればいつでも言ってください。指揮官、委託完了の時間よ。みんなを迎えに行こう。
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we got some big news coming up. I'm not sure why they didn't announce this in the live stream for the EN anniversary, but it was announced for the Japanese random update, so I guess there's that. Unless it's coming out in the upcoming anniversary, but I think it's coming out like really soon. But anyways though, this is a tweet from a random Japanese guy, but I think the original post was from either Weibo or Billy Games. It is a Chinese post though, but essentially, you guys can't really see this because it's in like Chinese, but what we're getting is an offline clearing mode. So I have this AI translated, so I know some of you guys do not like AI, but it's the best thing to show you guys on how to do this. So we've got double clearing tickets, we got regular ways of clearing the game as of right now, and now on top of that we're getting a background farmer is what we're getting. So operation handover, so this is not accurate translations, but just bear with me for this. Main story chapters and some new checkpoint cards add an operational handover mechanism. Commanders can initiate operational handover for specific chapters and checkpoints, consume resources, and wait for a certain time to complete the corresponding chapter, checkpoint, and receive rewards. So basically, AFK farming. It's like an auto game, essentially. Idle game, whatever you want to call it. The operational handover system is only effective for checkpoints and have completed one full continuous battle. So maps you already cleared, essentially. The time required for a single operation is calculated based on the strongest continuous clearance record. Actual time is used in battle. Fleet travel is not counted. So if it takes like, I don't know, 5 minutes to clear, let's say like 8 minutes or so. I don't know exact timers for this, but I don't think it's gonna be the exact same time as how you would clear normally. I think it's gonna be a bit slower, but still very good regardless. Completing operational handover will grant lecture hall proficiency. That's really good because I can still use that. So here's what the interface will look like right here. Auto, immediate start. I guess like this is auto or whatever, and this is just one time, stuff like that. Full authority operational handover letter. Using the full authority operational handover letter allows you to gain more extra drops in operational. So let's say campaign clears. I'm gonna say that. And increase task progress for some missions. Additionally, it can be used to exchange for usable time on the interface, so don't forget to use it. I'm not sure exactly what that is. So you use one, it takes 4 minutes 30 seconds to clear, and then I guess this is a free one, and this is just using your oil, right? I gotta look more into this when it actually comes out, but I think it's just basically saying like you get a ticket, you use it, and you use that ticket to clear. If you don't have enough, you can't do it. I'm thinking that's what it is, because some, like a lot of games these days, gacha games specifically, you have to use some kind of currency to do these sweeps or whatever. Like Blue Archives has sweeps, Girls Frontline 2 has sweeps, Grand Blue Fantasy has sweeps. Things that you just put in, use it, and then boom, you just wait, or it instantly clears whatever. So yeah, guys, just interface talking. One reminder: during the operation. during the campaign clears, the commander will temporarily be unable to attack main lines, event checkpoints, and event archives. So basically, if you're doing this, you can't do other stuff. That's all there is to it. Remember to arrange your time before starting. So if you're active and you're playing a game, unless you really don't want to play the game, don't use this feature. Alright, so this feature right here, here's my honest opinion about it. It's very good for people that cannot play while they're doing something else. So as of right now, it's safe to say most of us that play the game a lot just have it run in the background, which is no issue whatsoever. But there are a lot of people that plays this game on mobile as well too. Think of it as like a PR research clearing system. Like before we had the clearing system, before we had the PR research queue that you guys can see like right here. Doing PR research was miserable. You gotta do it one at a time. So this is a queue right here, basically, for campaign clears. So we got more AFK stuff on top of AFK stuff. So if you're at school, work, going to bed, this is the best way to use this feature right here. For me personally, I love this because one thing I really like to do is during UR events, I like to get 200 affinity very, very quickly to show you guys how good the ship is in actual performance. I don't want to lose sleep over this now, so when I go to bed, I'll just queue this up, and then I don't have to worry about it for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours, and then queue the same thing again and go back to sleep, and so forth. So this is a very good feature. Can do this while at work, school, many places right now. It's pretty good for the most part. Now, I know there's going to be some controversy about this, and again, I don't blame people for having controversy about this. It's becoming easy lane, auto lane, AFK lane at this point. That's what it is now. Assuming that this does include commission procs, because one thing I have concern about for this update is if whether this feature will proc these commissions that you guys see in the urgent section. If it doesn't, I don't really like it too much, but I mean, I'll probably use it every now and then. But if it does, that's gonna be crazy. Why I say this is because now we can farm gems and cubes much easier. Now, once again, I'm not sure too much about this part right here because, again, you can probably get like 5 tickets a week or something, and then you can only auto 5 maps per week, which kind of sucks. It doesn't do much for anything unless you want to save them for something. But assuming if this is like as many use as your oil can handle, this is pretty good, I'd say. I know a lot of us are just AFK gamers. We don't play too much. We just log in, collect stuff, pull, log off, buy skins, and so forth. So for those that actually want to play the game, level some stuff up, this is a very good feature. I know these days we're very busy. Games nowadays are not as grindy as they used to be back in 2018, which was the peak year of, well, actually I think 2020 was the peak year of AZUR Lane, but yeah, anyways. It is good for casual gaming, by far. If you're a sweaty, try-hard gamer, you may not like this, and I don't blame you for it. But for a lot of casual people, this is a very good place, a very good update for them, because now they can actually farm the game without having the game run in the background on their phone and be like, Kimo, my phone Samsung 25 is like melting, having this game up like 5 hours a day. I get that. Alright, so let me know what you guys think about this. I'll go ahead and I don't know if I want to link this to you guys. It's just like, this is an AI post that is posted in my Discord, and then this is like some Japanese tweet picture from the Japanese, or Chinese. It's a Chinese post made by a Japanese guy. Alright, so let me know what you guys think. Feel free to talk about it in the comments as well too. I think this update will be coming out very soon, probably within 1 or 2 weeks. Then I can try it out and give it a proper review for this update. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll see y'all in the next video.
It's about Merin.
Marin, the world's largest active VTuber.
It's the same person, by the way.
This is her childhood dream.
絶対おっぱい大きくなる。おっぱい Hello? という
Oh, okay, to have big boobs. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, same. To be fair, when I was a kid, I was hoping that I would have big tits because my mom has big tits, right? And then imagine my surprise when I grew up and I was like, error 404. What happened? You know?
You're in for a ride. Despite where she stands today, Marin, or Senjo as we call her, grew up in poverty. Her family is so poor that she remembers not being able to afford snacks like chips and could only buy
Dude, Kalbi's so
bread
good.
rolls. Her apartment was so run down in the middle of nowhere
Dude, she lived in like Resident Evil Biohazard.
that they'd be infested
Ugh.
with insects.
Never mind, it was just Asmongold's home.
And even as a child, she lived so hungry that one time she tried eating the Street Fighter paper manual.
Oddly specific. Okay. Question mark. Yeah, relatable. I mean, when I was hungry back then, I like ate like, you know, like my tissue or something. Although napkins are better.
Even McDonald's was too expensive for their
Or normal sheet of paper.
family. The details of her full family are unclear, but she mentions not having a mother. Growing up,
Like,
How's my favorite alcoholic non-lewd VTuber?
hey! You cannot use facts back against me. Kinda mean. So sad.
with just her sister and father. Even so,
Bro, his father gave birth to her. That's crazy.
her dad seemed to do
brag.
an amazing job because even under these harsh conditions, she had never once considered herself to be unlucky or unhappy. And we see in clips that to this day, she is
So hold up. So she had a single parent and she turned out just fine. And it was with her dad. There is something about that. Yeah, she didn't become an e-whore or anything. Don't say I can't. I don't know. You cannot say it. I'm sipping water.
very close to both of them, with insane stories like her dad seducing her previous boss,
What?
messaging.
Wait, what? Her dad seduced the previous... What? There was a time when my dad tried to seduce my boss. Oh, nice.
Messaging her like a classic Oji-san. But anyway, most likely due to poverty, Senju
It's like, my children need a mother! Ah!
never went to university and directly entered the workforce right after high school. And if you know anything about Japan's work culture, then you may have heard of black companies. Companies that overwork the hell out of employees with little compensation and are in legal gray areas. Marin unfortunately worked in one, perhaps not knowing, perhaps having
She was with Neji Sanji before.
no choice.
Dun,
And
dun,
it was
dun.
brutal. She has memories of working overtime past midnight, not being able to take time off even when she got the flu or got injured. And one time, instead of a performance bonus, they gave her mandarin oranges at
At least she got something. It's not much, but honest work, question mark. I got the pizza. Oh my god. You're just like her. For real, for real.
as a bonus. Except the mandarin oranges were rotting. The breaking point was when the CEO called everyone in the department in for a meeting and called everyone replaceable, saying anyone could do their work. See, the reason Marin stayed at the company for so long was because even
Dude, no wonder that she loves Hololive. She would be like, I'm never faltering. I will stay forever. I will never be an indie again. Please, Hololive, I love you. Please keep me.
under those conditions, she still had a sense of purpose.
Alright, the hate for our mouse. We talked about her, like, I don't know, last week. I'm telling you, the more popular you get, the more people just hate you for literally no reason, just for existing.
So nowadays, VTubing
Yeah.
is in a bit of a weird place. Not that I would personally know, I'm not a VTuber or anything close, and if anybody tells you
VTuber.
anything different, they're lying to you and
You're coping.
probably love the great state of Cyberstan, so they need to be removed immediately. But yes, ever since VTubing started, and ever since I was introduced to this hellhole, it seemingly took over both my ideas for things to yap about and my choice of entertainment now. I honestly can't tell you how it got to this point, it just happened. However, back in the day, things used to be a lot more calm in the VTubing space, probably because there was a lot less VTubers than there are today, and there was a lot less people watching them, primarily because most people just thought they were anime girls with overly high-pitched voices, and if you were caught watching
With voice changers.
them, you'd be called a weeb, degenerate, or gooner, in which I guess nothing much has changed in the current day. But yes, back then there were significantly less VTubers.
Did you not notice yourself? I didn't! I must have blinked! Did I really not? No, really. Am I blind? No, I didn't. What? Where? This one? I don't see myself. TV? Oh, the TV in the back. Wait.
Now, I honestly can't tell you how it got
Oh! No,
to this
I
point.
didn't.
It just happened. However, back in the day, things used to be a lot
Sorry. I blinked. I fucking blinked, chat.
less VTubers, and there were even less
cute.
speaking English. And now in the current day, we have 100 times that, where they speak all sorts of languages.
In Minecraft.
There is
In Minecraft. Classic Peppa.
definitely an oversaturation problem when it comes to VTubers now. There's a VTuber debuting every day, and it's very hard to stand out in the sea of virtual women and very...
I think the ship for VTuber debuts sailed probably in like 2023. Yeah, I think that's when it kind of became extremely difficult to like rely on. Oh, look at me, I'm a VTuber, blah blah blah. And again, that's I'm not hypocritical. That's what I did, but I'm just saying it was really hard to gain an audience after that because it became way more accessible.
few males anyone actually cares about. Poor guys. You should have picked body type 2 in the character creator. The audience surrounding VTubers also grew to the point where most of their activities heavily monitored, sometimes more than any celebrity, because believe me, I've seen the channels that archive every audio.
Why is this a thing, bro? VTuber fart comp. Why is there multiple? It's the same guy.
Bowel movement their favorite VTuber makes. Like, these guys put most of the pros in Rainbow Six Siege to shame with how accurate they are with picking up these types of audio cues. With the increase in population and attention regarding the VTuber community, it's also led to a lot of negative things as well, like drama, infighting, and gatekeeping, where it's now being discussed if you actually classify as a VTuber if you also post pictures of your face online. And I guess it does break the
I think it varies from person to person what people deem acceptable. Again, I've beaten this topic to death, but there are plenty of VTubers that existed in, say, Hololive that had accounts linked to their IRL posts or whatever, and people were so fine with it, like, nobody fucking cared. Yeah, obviously you're gonna get schizos here and there, but, like, yeah, I think that the degree of separation was just completely different.
Imagine knowing there's a living, breathing XX chromosome bearing female behind the model, as women can be pretty scary.
In a world filled with women. Ew!
With my experience, telling them the function of each of your RimWorld colonists and their work priorities within the colony usually causes them to fuck off. But you also see a lot of hatred for certain VTubers by VTuber fans, and it's usually because they had a conflict with another VTuber or another creator they like, or that VTuber vocalized their opinion that goes against their own opinion, or sometimes they don't really know why they hate them, they just do. And usually said people begin spouting actual nonsense about them on public platforms with no evidence. And the person we're going to be speaking about today has faced a lot of this and is one of the most popular VTubers, Iron Mouse. who for the most part has a pretty positive reputation that has only increased as the years have gone by, but at the same time the hate for her has also been growing. So today we're going to be going over
Popularity.
why she's hated, some of the incidents that caused it, and if it's deserved. But quickly, who even is Iron
Akagi's art again! I'm so proud of him.
Mouse?
I've been watching that dang old Iron Mouse stream for a while, and I got a girlfriend now.
So Iron Mouse is a Puerto Rican American VTuber that made her start on the internet in 2017 on a website called YouNow, which is like any other streaming website, just not as well known. She initially found out about VTubing due to the rise of Kitsune AI, someone that was a part of the first wave of VTubers and was arguably the first one to get mainstream attention, with many crediting her as the VTuber responsible for starting the whole VTuber trend.
Yeah.
Iron Mouse, like many other VTubers, was inspired by Kitsune to start VTubing, but she ran into a problem. She had no idea how to become a VTuber, and she had doubts that she would even be entertaining enough for people to watch. Even though her primary goal at the time for becoming a streamer didn't have anything to do with being popular or becoming an icon like Kitsune, but a far more wholesome goal. And that was
I don't think it should be anyone's goal to fucking immediately want to have clout and mega money and be mega rich. I think people can see through that. Same with like mega clout chasing too. It's like people can just feel the vibes are off and you're not really in it for the funsies. Like I love being a VTuber. I really truly do.
to make friends and be
Even
less
in the
isolated,
non-traditional
which is quite a
sense.
common story among a lot of popular streamers when asked why
Yeah.
they started
Yeah,
streaming. But
bulky.
Iron Mouse, on the other hand, physically couldn't make friends. And it had nothing to do with
Aw.
things like social anxiety or the fear of accidentally talking to someone who gets easily overstimulated from simple conversations and they implode.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
That's
anything
me.
to do with that, as she previously described herself as an extrovert that was forced to live like an introvert.
That's honestly actual torture. Yeah, if you become disabled or something, but initially you were like a mega extrovert. Yeah, like to me, I was always introverted. I still like people and stuff, but my threshold for how much I can deal with is like way lower.
I've always been. I like to explain it like I'm an extrovert who was forced to live an introverted
That
lifestyle.
sucks, man.
From birth, Iron Mouse was always pretty sick compared to the rest of her siblings, and in her own words, because of how frequent she was sick, her parents were always protective of her, so she grew up pretty sheltered. But when she
Aw.
became a teenager, things actually improved. Her health got better to the point where she thought she could actually pursue her dream at the time, which was to be a professional opera singer, as ever since watching a specific scene in the movie The Fifth Element, she always wanted to be one,
Whoa,
which
that's
is
a
one of the
great
many things
movie.
she's known for
Bruce
in the
Willis.
current day.
Even a memory is paradise for all the fools like me.
But even though things
What a
looked like they
voice,
were going
man.
well, her health was better and she was now pursuing her dream, it took an unfortunate turn as soon as she turned 18. For some strange reason, out of nowhere, she started getting sick again, and after many visits to a doctor, she finally found out why she was so sick all the time. Iron Mouse was diagnosed with CVID, or Common Variable Immune Deficiency, which is an immune system disorder that causes the body to produce low levels of antibodies, which is required for things like fighting diseases and infections. So
She
in
can't
essence,
fight
this
'em
means that
off.
even
You
things
have
like
to
a
stay
common
inside.
cold can be dangerous to those with CVID, as their body just isn't equipped to defend against it. And in Iron Mouse's
learned about
case,
that from a
eventually became so
cartoon.
severe that she couldn't be around anyone, not even family, without getting sick. She also eventually had to use things like oxygen tanks due to complications with her lungs.
Holy
All of a sudden,
shit.
I hit 18, and my body was like, "Nope, that's it." Everything started going haywire again. They were like, "We know what's wrong with you. You have CVID." I was so severe. I became so severe I couldn't be around people.
Definitely.
Any type of contact with like my family or with friends, or I would get sick like so quickly. Like it got to the point where I couldn't leave my house. I was always on medicine. I was always on IV antibiotics.
Why did my game break?
And some people, what happens with them too is if you take the medication, it makes your body basically shut down.
Close this.
And it like makes you sick to yourself. I don't know if it's that bad for her, but there are some cases with people who have these autoimmune deficiencies and immunodeficiencies in general, where like your body starts breaking down. Yeah, it's like actual like hell on earth. You can't. I imagine she has to have her own bathroom. She has to have her own. She can't use a dishwasher because like, you know, she has to sterilize everything. And again, I don't know this. I'm just very interested in biology, and I like that stuff. And I initially wanted to get into biology when I was in college, but that shit is like actual hell on earth if you look into it. It sucks.
After this, Iron Mouse would drop out of school and would begin isolating herself from the outside world. This meant she couldn't go outside at all and spent a majority of her days inside alone, bedridden. But fortunately, she did have internet access, which is such a weird phrase to say out loud, especially since it seems like a curse nowadays, which anyone that uses Instagram Reels can attest to.
Remember my teachers in school telling me I wasn't gonna be working in Burger King for the rest of my life. Guess what? I start Friday, Nick!
While surfing the internet, she began watching streamers and
pardon,
making some
sir?
online friends, which leads us back to 2017, when she found Kizune and wanted to become a VTuber with little to no knowledge on how to do it. Fortunately though,
And
one
it
of
was so niche too at the time. I do remember back in like 2019, I got kind of curious because I did see some HoloLive, you know, Reddits popping up here and there about people being like VTubers, and I was like, what the hell is a VTuber? Sounds like YouTuber but virtual. And I was right, but I didn't know it at the time, and I was like, so how do you even become one? Like, is it a program or something? And then I started digging, and then I started finding out about people, and then Face Connect was a thing. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Yeah, like, I don't know. Again, I was like semi-casual. I wasn't a hardcore fan or anything, but like, I did enjoy it at the time when I would play video games and I'd just have like a VTuber yapping in the ear.
her online friends did know, telling her about a piece of software called FaceRig, of which that friend then bought.
The red panda!
Bought her the software. All she needed now was a model, which she quickly found on the Steam Workshop, and even better, it was free to use. So she now had everything to become a VTuber, and with little to no hesitation, she began streaming. Now I couldn't find any archives of these streams, mainly because it was almost 9 years ago, and once again on a website called YouNow, which wasn't as popular as other streaming platforms like Twitch. But despite this, she did have a handful of viewers on the platform that eagerly awaited her every stream. However, she would eventually create a Twitch account on the 28th of September, apparently streaming on both platforms before fully transitioning to streaming on Twitch full-time in 2019. Around this time, she averaged 20 viewers per stream and debuted the first version of the so-called Demon Queen model that many would know her for today. By February of 2020, she had jumped to averaging over 40 viewers per stream, but a few months later, she would see a huge...
That's huge back then. 40? I average it out to about 3 times the size, maybe even 6 times the size.
Blow up, as by the end of the same
now,
year, she was now averaging over 3,000.
Wow!
So what caused this sudden explosion in attention? Well, in my opinion, it was down to multiple reasons. One, this was when COVID was happening, so streaming in general saw a huge increase in viewers. Also, probably because of COVID, it led to the second reason, which was the rise of VTubers, as simultaneously more VTubers started showing up and more people started watching them. The final reason, I think, is down to a specific clip that went viral and introduced a lot of people to Iron Mouse. Said clip was from one of her live streams in April of 2020, where within that stream, Iron Mouse was gathering funds for a better workspace mattress, more specifically
Someone
a better
donated a
bed,
lot,
that
yeah.
fit her medical needs and allowed her to be more comfortable. And the reason this clip was so important and popular to the point where one re-upload has over 1 million views, because midway through explaining why she needs this new bed, as soon as the fundraiser started, within a few minutes she had already completed the goal with over $2,000 donated.
Oh, my bed, my bed. Don't like calling me my bed. It makes me feel very embarrassed. Makes me feel not so good. So I like to call my bed my
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so it is my moral obligation as a VTuber to react to every single upload by Shuonhead. Now, there's also a trend in the commentary space where their titles are completely diabolical with some sort of variation of Shuonhead and Hassan and phrases like finished, in, on, all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to resort to any of that, okay? I'm going to use a only semi-clickbait title for this upload, but of course, a lot of you guys enjoy Shu's content, and that's for good reason. She's very entertaining, and a lot of people appreciate her insights, but she has uploaded yet another banger. I have not watched it, though, but I assume it's good. It is titled, MAGA Was Right, We Were Crazy, Are Democrats Okay? And I know this is a good upload because a lot of the wackadoos on social media, the far leftists, are seething about this. And there's only one portion of the video I have seen so far, and it involves a bit with Hassan. And it's very funny, but we'll get to it. So, without further ado, let me pause the music and let's get right into it.
So my last video was about Woke One, a new phrase coined by leftists and Democrats online that is being used to distance themselves from the terrible PR disaster that was the last few years for the left in America. Nancy Pelosi kneeling in full African garb to honor George Floyd.
Wakanda forever, man.
Why, that was just Woke One. And how, in my opinion, that was not Woke One, and how Woke One actually started in like 2012, 2014 with Gamergate, Me Too, you know, Tumblr era feminism, the whole pre-Trump era wokeness, before it was even called woke. And I talked about how I don't want them to rewrite history and pretend.
But she's definitely right. The whole like reference to Woke One is like a very big debate on social media where a lot of very woke people are saying that this era of wokeness, 1.0 is what they call it, that only began in 2020 when everyone just lost their collective minds. But no, I agree with Shu, that is Woke 2. Woke 1 was back in the Gamergate era, where we had a bunch of wackadoo feminists saying crazy things. Woke 2 was another beast, okay? With the pandemic, everyone lost their collective minds, and the results are absolutely crazy. People being threatened with imprisonment for not wearing masks and stuff like that. We have seen a lot of crazy stuff. She's definitely right with that distinction.
And this all started in like 2020. After uploading that video on Woke One, I thought I was free. That I would never have to hear the insufferable, delusional term Woke One ever again. I thought I could finally move on with my life. Yeah.
Someone just walked up to you and asked if you were watching the divorced Vita. Wait, huh? Waldo? 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 No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Somebody just walked up to me and asked if I was watching the divorced VTuber. Are you serious? Who did that? What the actual? That's so absurd. That's so absurd. I can't.
This is going to be my first deployment for my agency. It's a lot smaller than I expected. I've averaged about 15 to 20 listings per hour. We get manually on my phone. This, card uploader or TCP automate, whichever one I prefer to pick, will allow me to upload anywhere from 100 to 300 cards an hour. Let's go see how to use it and what it looks like. First out of the box, did you know that despite his terrifying face, Morrison is actually a very great CEO? After Rudy's officially became Morrison's support, he immediately demanded his salary and asked for some time off to spend with his family every now and then. Rudy's explained that he would be traveling.
I love Hello Kitty. Cinnamon Roll is like my favorite Sanrio character. I think it's super cute. But I've also like been getting into the Godzilla shit because I thought it was really interesting, right? So McDonald's is having a promotion for new toys, and apparently it's a collaboration between Sanrio and Godzilla. So apparently my luck stat manifested toys for McDonald's Happy Meals, which are probably not gonna come to Spain, sadly. But if you're in the US, you can probably snag these. I wanna look at these with you guys. There's not that many of them, I think it's like 8. And I want to like break down who's paired with who and what the toy looks like. Because when I tell you that this is a weirdly good match, I'm really not joking. I don't know where the fuck they got this from, what crack were they smoking, but I'm really happy that they're doing it. So let's look at some McDonald's toys! Okay, so first on the chocolate box, obviously, Hello Kitty and Godzilla! And you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck does this have in common? The reason Hello Kitty is paired with Godzilla is because they're both MCs of their respective franchises. Literally the titular Sanrio character, this franchise has made $1 more billion. And I think it's really funny to see like the very pink, cutesy, big shapes, adorable like kawaii culture, and then you put a fucking lizard next to it that has atomic breath and makes ungodly noises, okay? It's such a cute character, and I have like no idea what the fuck you would do with Godzilla. So when I was first told they were doing this, I was like, this sounds like a recipe for disaster. What the fuck are they doing? This is what. Look at it! They're literally putting Sanrio characters in kaiju costumes. Is this not the cutest fucking thing you've ever seen? This is literally fucking Barbieheimer. Yes, it is. Like, I desperately want this, and this is not coming to Spain, and I'm so sad. I want the Hello Kitty dressed like Godzilla. Like, the little feet, the spikes on the back, the fact that you can still see Godzilla's face. She still has cat ears, but somehow that fit into, like, the kaiju body perfectly. Like, Japanese Godzilla kind of has like weird ears things, so it kind of makes sense. Like, this is like the Sanrio characters cosplaying the kaijus, and I think that is the sweetest thing. But like, they also had the opportunity to do the funniest fucking thing and dress Godzilla up as Hello Kitty. But I think that this is the most effective route, because like, Sanrio's whole thing is making things adorable, and if this can get like anyone that isn't like a dude into Godzilla, this is gonna do it. I like it because like it still has Hello Kitty's distinctive silhouette, but obviously the kaiju's still in here, you know? My Melody and Mothra, a perfect combination. I love Bunui. My Melody is such a sweet character. Fucking adorable. She just has like her cute little like pink hood with like her ears. And then Mothra is like very like Yas Queen, the only girly pop kaiju in all of these. So we need like some nurturing motherly energy. So I think Melody and Mothra make a...
You beat me.
The US Navy frequently fires a jet engine in full afterburner off the back of its aircraft.
What if I told you it was possible to take a photo from a printer and with just a simple piece of plastic, you could create a 3D image? This type of image is called a lenticular print, but most of them, like this one, only show a couple of images, so it doesn't create any type of 3D. I think I can give them an answer. I've done some calculations, and I believe I can make one of these using 12 images instead of just 2. Here's my plan. I'm going to use some 3D software to create sets of images in a sequence so that when you flip back and forth, you'll be able to see this 3D effect, almost like a hologram. So much better than 2 images. Actually, I think so. If this 3D effect works, I'll create a bunch of different prints to show you the amazing things you can make. Now, this isn't an easy task. From the research I did, it seems like the popularity of lenticular prints pretty much died out in the 70s and 80s, with smaller use cases here and there ever since. As far as I know, this print I had made is one of the last custom ones you could easily order for cheap, and you can actually get it from Walgreens. It's only $4, but it's limited to 2 photos and this one size. Everything else I could find seems pretty expensive, or usually has a limit of 3 images. That's because these are really hard to find. And that's just with a couple images. It seems like no one even wants to attempt these 3D ones that I want to make. So I have run into plenty of challenges. First, getting your hands on this lens that makes it possible isn't so easy. A lot of people actually sell them as invisibility shields, because a lot of YouTubers started making videos featuring this type of product. I also ended up buying multiple sets of sheets due to various complications. I was a bit ambitious at the start, wanting to make a huge poster, but I kept downsizing because of printing or budgeting issues, so posters will have to wait for another time. Another big challenge was with software. I had this question, and you might as well, but if I have these 12 images and this lens, how do I put all of that together into one print? Well, software is the answer, and the process is called... It's the process of taking all the images and weaving them together in a specific way for that particular lens. It ends up looking kind of crazy, and the software for doing it is either really old and free or old and expensive. So I chose the free version. A few other smaller challenges I ran into were things like 3D rendering times, like this one scene that estimated a single frame was going to take over 5 hours to complete. Or another challenge was just making sure that the printer resolution, lenticular lens, and images all work together. I even bought a new printer to help solve some issues, but the new lens I bought didn't work with that printer brand, so it was all just very tedious. Anyway, enough about challenges. Let's take a quick second to just understand a little bit about how this works. If you take a cross-section of one of these lenses, you would see a flat side and a side with a bunch of bumps. These bumps reflect the image coming from the flat side into separate angles. When you look through the side with bumps, you end up seeing one fraction of the surface below rather than the entire surface. And as you change angles, the lens reveals different sections one at a time. So the goal is actually pretty simple. Looking at a single bump or lenticule, you need to figure out how many images you can fit under it according to your printer, and then make sure they're printed squarely under each lenticule. Otherwise, the print will slowly become off and the effect will be ruined. And that's the main reason the process for this is so complicated. It really comes down to millimeters of accuracy. So after a lot of trial and error, I finally figured it out. And I don't know if you want to hear the process for making just one of these from start to finish. I'll tell you anyway. First, I tried to think of an idea that would look interesting. I sketched out the concept loosely so I could reference it later. Moved over to Blender, the 3D software I use. Created the models for everything. Set up the camera, focal point, and animation. Added in textures for everything. Added lighting. Rendered the scene, now knowing it's going to take forever with my current hardware. Created and performed a pitch test for the lens. It's unfortunately not as fun as it looks. Interlaced the images, printed out that final image, lined it up, laminated, and trimmed it. But then you would realize the effect still doesn't work. So you have to redo most of that process. I guess that's why I've been working on this idea since July? Whoops. What have I done? This is taking forever. Will it even look good on camera? Hey, you should subscribe. Can we get back to the video? Anyway, here's that scene that I showed at the very beginning, finally put together. I honestly can't believe it works. Also, I found that if you put them over a light, it makes it a bit easier to see on camera. But there's no other trick here. This is just a light and the print, and it feels like I'm actually looking into this scene. While this whole thing was incredibly hard to do, once I figured out the first one, it wasn't too difficult to create some other scenes to do the same process for. This is a rose I made to showcase a more typical 3D model. And with the light, it really brings out the colors. I also thought something having to do with time would be interesting. So I made this simulation of a bullet breaking through glass. It didn't end up working as well as the others, but it's still fun to have. One of my personal favorites was this cartoon look for a classic car. I thought it would be super cool to have something that looked like it was in 2D until you rotate it, and I just love how this turned out. Just seeing the extra detail inside the car is so fun, and imagine if you had this as a poster you walk by on a wall. I also made a Shrek one where his eyes follow you.
Wait a moment.
And yeah, it turned out a little creepy. A quick disclaimer, I created the scenes and models for almost everything in this video, but it is very time consuming. So just calling out that I did download free models for the car and Shrek scenes as a starting point. If you're new or interested in 3D software, there are tons of resources like this to help you get started. And one last bonus print I did was a variation of that desk scene, but this one shifts to night. I think I like it better than the original, although it's a bit more subtle than I intended because the digital files definitely look a lot more like nighttime. This project has been a roller coaster, but I now know how to make lenticular prints, which I can hopefully make larger sizes. If you enjoy these types of projects, let me know in the comments. I gotta figure out what project I'm doing next, but at least I have this chill desk theme that I can always look at. And you can too. I'll see you in the next one.
That's it. Damn.
要は長と縦横の長となる
Is it?
Look deep into your heart and into my heart. Do you have glasses? What you think? The skirt is nice, right? The thing is that since I'm covering the white, it's a little bit short, so I'm like not allowed to spin, because if I spin then you will see everything that my mama gave me. So you can only get a little spin. Yeah. Look deep into your heart and into my heart. Do you have glasses? What you think? The skirt is nice, right? The thing is that
The people of Earth are hilarious. Cell said, if I win, I'm blowing this whole bitch up. This planet is done for. And it was like, let's just...
So back in 2020, I was trying to make it as an underground musician in Tokyo. Teaching side swinging with a side of English was paying the bills, barely, but it wasn't my passion. And to top it all off, the world was sick. The venues we loved were closing down, shows were getting canceled left and right. I'd gotten kicked out of a friend's house because of shit that was definitely my fault, so I was rocking it alone in a one-bedroom apartment in Kawasaki. Until one of my friends sent me an audition in our Discord group. She was gonna audition for this thing called HoloLive. Without really saying anything, I clicked the link and bam, this whole world I had no idea of flashed before me. I mean, I'd seen a clip of Matsuri-senpai telling her Band-Aid story, and I vaguely knew who Korone-senpai was, but this shit went deep. I was seriously just gonna go home to America and try to make it in comics and work at a restaurant, I guess, so in pure desperation, I worked on my audition until 3 a.m. and pressed submit with no expectations. I was too nervous to even tell my friends who sent me the audition. It felt kind of sneaky, I don't know. Fast forward a while, and I had just come back from third period English when I received the email that I'd earned a spot in HoloLife's very first English branch. I was scared my friends would feel a certain way about it, but they were happy for me. I'm still buds with them to this day. I don't know where I'd be if it weren't for them. So back in 2020, I was trying to make it as an underground musician.
Enfield recently introduced Persona as the game's newest 5-star, and is also free to get and max pot.
Something I found interesting in Avatar: The Last Airbender is that there's an actual reason why every avatar needs to learn each respective element within the exact same cycle. Because of course, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, we learned that every avatar needs to learn the elements in a very specific order, and for Aang, that was air, water, earth, and fire. And obviously, the pattern of the elements is supposed to relate to the pattern.
You're right. What were you thinking, trusting me? I can't be trusted. You've been seduced by a throne.
And last! Oh, this is a Japanese candy store! No, it's the eraser section of a Japanese stationery store! Iwako is a Japanese stationery maker known for making these cute little collectible erasers. These erasers are really finely made and...
K-pop idols whose outfits were not made for dancing. IV's Ray went viral during her solo stage after a picking up move drew attention to her short baby doll outfit, with fans asking for longer safety shorts. Jessie's stage outfit looked way too risky for the choreography, with fans joking that the strings were fighting for their lives.
They are OMG.
Ellie Seraphim's spaghetti choreography drew criticism for its awkward moves and revealing shorts, with fans asking the stylists to give them longer shorts.
No. Yes.
K-pop idols whose
Who wants to learn something horrifying if they didn't teach you in history class? You do. The ruins of one of the largest ancient cities to ever exist in North America were intentionally demolished by the United States in the 1800s. Well, I'm sure they had a good reason. I hope we at least got something good out of it. They built St. Louis on top of it. Okay, so I'll let you decide if this was worth it. This collection of roughly 25 earthen mounds were built by the Mississippian culture around 1000 CE. 25 piles of dirt, that doesn't sound like a lot.
I'd like for you to play a D. That one up there.
Alright, what if there was a watch where the hands themselves spelled out the time? So like this is 10:10 obviously, but if the hands were in this...
Solo Superhero September is coming! This is a month-long community event where all of us solo players finally pull those superhero RPGs off of our shelves and give them the attention that they deserve. Throughout September, we will...
You never heard of Zumbinis? No. Okay, you should get your daughter to play Zumbinis. This is
What is it?
It's a game where...
What is that? How it's made. But no, they're not. Oh, they're not okay. Because you're here.
So my last video was about woke one, a new phrase coined by leftists and Democrats online that is being used to distance themselves from the terrible PR disaster that was the last few years for the left in America. Nancy Pelosi kneeling in full African garb to honor George Floyd? Why, that was just woke one. And how, in my opinion, that was not woke one, and how woke one actually started in like 2012, 2014 with Gamergate, Me Too, you know, Tumblr era feminism, the whole pre-Trump era wokeness, before it was even called woke. And I talked about how I don't want them to rewrite history and pretend this all started in like 2020. After uploading that video on Woke One, I thought I was free. That I would never have to hear the insufferable, delusional term Woke One ever again. I thought I could finally move on with my life. Yeah, I thought.
What do you make of those controversial statements I'm sure you've seen? I mean, she's, you know, the Thanksgiving dust-up, abolished prisons, abolished police.
Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot.
Right, she's moved away from it. Of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Now, as an ex-AOC fangirl, I feel like I am well within my rights to say, not so fast, bitch. I watched these people go from anti-establishment, fighting the man, become the most preachy, buck-broken, neutered HR department Karens in real time. I remember when she broke away from the Bernie Sanders campaign after he dared go on Joe Rogan. I watched this all happen, and I held on. I held on for a long time. Many would say too long, in fact. But this clip of AOC talking about woke one really solidified how I've been feeling for the past few years. In this video, I will be responding to AOC trying to walk back Woke One in what I can only assume is a desperate attempt to distance herself from the more crazy people in her movement before a future presidential run. Now, while politicians are out here trying to dodge accountability for things that they've said and done, the rest of us are out here figuring out how the f we're gonna afford anything. People are getting squeezed from every direction. Rent costs too much, groceries cost too much, everything costs too much. At this point, I'm scared to open my wallet because I know it's gonna be empty. Actually, that's not true. It's full of just random gift cards from 2011 that I've never used. I don't even know what half this stuff is. But thankfully, I have a product that can help with just that. So before we get into today's video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ridge. Ridge is known for creating premium minimalist wallets that can hold up to 12 cards and conveniently store your cash. They're made with RFID blocking technology, which protects you from wireless identity theft. One of the things I love about their products is they come in so many different designs. Their store features over 30 unique colors and styles. My favorite right now is the titanium purple. I love the sleek design and I love the very subtle purpley color. I think it's gorgeous. Another cool product that works well with the wallet is the Ridge Tracker card. It's like an AirTag in the shape of a credit card. You just put it right in your wallet, and if you ever lose your wallet, you can find its location right from your phone. Plus, it charges wirelessly and can last up to 5 months on a full charge. But Ridge isn't just focused on wallets anymore. They also created a very useful 5-in-1 power bank. It comes with MagSafe wireless charging and even a charging pad for your Apple Watch. Ridge has also created new 24-ounce water bottles. I've got the American traditional design. I love it. It's so cute. It's like little retro tattoos made from double-walled stainless steel. It keeps your drink nice and cold for hours. I'm taking a trip to Italy soon, and I'm definitely going to bring the water bottle and the wireless charger. These will come in handy. I think Ridge's products are great, but don't just take my word on it. Ridge has over 100,000 5-star reviews. And now they even have something extra special. This year, Ridge is hosting a massive sweepstakes, and this time 2 people can win. The winners get to choose from a Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a Ford Bronco, or $100,000 in cash. The giveaway runs until September 8th. There are tons of ways you can enter, but you can also just enter it for free. But if you want to boost your chances, every Ridge purchase gets you additional entries. So head over to ridge.com/shoe to check out their collection and enter the 2026 sweepstakes for free using my link. Big thanks to Ridge for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. And now, back to the video. Now, before we get into the real meat of this, the real juicy, this is the politician AOC and the interviewer are talking about. Francesca Hong is a progressive DSA candidate who recently lost her primary. Francesca Hong has a few interesting tweets from 2020. Who among us does not? But most notably, one about wanting to cancel Thanksgiving. Cancel Thanksgiving. Should have done this in 1621. If it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realize we should stop celebrating colonialism and the original super spreader event that killed indigenous folks and women, so be it. Please don't gather for the colonizer holiday. Please do wear a mask. I forget that people actually speak like this, and it's not just like some conservative parody of liberals.
One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef. Bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities.
Don't get me wrong, I love the struggle session they're putting these candidates through, reading their old Woke 1.0 tweets back at them. Like a dog that peed on the carpet. What is this? What is this? But the quotes and replies from like Democrats and leftists on this were even funnier. Is it so hard to just say, no, I do not want to cancel Thanksgiving? Even if you do want to, just lie? Why is she catering so hard to the fringe? Does she want to lose her election? Why can't she just lie? This woman is an optics nightmare. Just say no. Say it was a joke. Say it was Woke 1. Just lie, for fuck's sake. Just say no. Just lie, please. No, she shouldn't lie, and she's not trying to cater. this is what she truly believes, and the people should know exactly what she believes. She has talked about her half-white son, that he gives her a quote, proximity to whiteness.
I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities of color because for me assimilation always kind of took over. And so I did marry, my proximity to whiteness continues, right? My son is biracial, he's half white and half Korean.
I love the hesitation. She's like, I married my child is half white. She can't even like bring herself to say it. Activists in the streets, colonized in the sheets. Many such cases. Also, Francesca Hong just like hates all holidays apparently. This woman is straight up Grinch maxing. She's got a hate tweet for every fucking holiday, I swear to God. Except for Kwanzaa. Of course. Why would she hate Kwanzaa? When asked how her long-term vision of a world without prisons would work, Hong said, "What I know is attainable, and the policies that actually meet the urgency of the moment and understanding the realities of it means we have to ensure that we're funding our local governments, that we're bringing justice to victims." She added, "What may have been aspirational is not primary." What may have been aspirational. So it's still an aspiration. It's still a goal. It's just not the primary one. Interesting. Also, her opponent said this.
People try to call me the establishment. I look at that as a slur, particularly as an African-American candidate.
So, cancel Thanksgiving or establishment is a racist slur. Your Democratic Party, sir. Anyway, my point is, Francesca Hong's old tweets about defunding the police and whiteness and Thanksgiving, they were being all hand-waved away by AOC as just simply being woke one.
Woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. But if you said woke one was crazy during woke one, you are a racist fascist Nazi. The citation of woke 1.0 or woke one is now a common shorthand among parts of the online left to describe and distance themselves from what they view as a more dated or inconvenient aspects of the impassioned social justice activism they participated in during the late 2010s and early 2020s. In 2021, Chai Osi, campaigning for New York City Council, tweeted, "A cis white man should not be the next speaker of the council." When a critic of his on X unearthed that old post earlier this year, Osi, now a council member, gave a pithy response. Woke one was crazy. We all got a bit crazy back then. We did some jello shots and got on the bar and took off our tops and burned the city down and got people fired from their jobs for having opinions Obama had 15 years ago. You can't spend like 10 years bullying people into the most retarded asocial political opinions under the coercion of social ostracization or getting fired from their job, then turn around and just be like, that just happened. My career for like a decade has been calling this out, has been trying to tell the left and the Democratic Party that this woke shit was toxic and would drive people away from them. And for 10 years, I was called a racist, sexist, pick-me, fascist, Nazi, every ism and ism under the sun. And now they're just conceding to that and acting like it never happened. And you just expect us to, what? Move on? I've been like a dog chasing a car, and I finally got the car, and I don't know what to do with it. Like, first of all, why as a Democratic politician would you say this? You're basically saying like, yeah, MAGA was right, we were crazy. Like, okay, what else are they right about them? Even from like an AOC fan point of view, this just makes her look completely unserious and makes like the progressive movement look completely unserious, which it is. Why should anyone trust a politician who can get swept up in mass hysteria so easily? How can I trust that won't happen again? How can I trust in 5 years from now, you won't just call whatever it is you're advocating for now woke too and dismiss it as crazy? Free Palestine. Woke too was crazy. Like, what do you believe in? Could you imagine Republicans being like, January 6th one was crazy? Basically, I said this all on Twitter and people were like already making videos of it. AOC panics after shoe on head calls her. Like, that didn't even happen. Like, I don't think AOC even knows I exist. I love the thumbnail on this one. Shoe bitch slaps AOC. Who the fuck is this? Is that shoe bitch? Ah yes, the infamous, notorious shoe bitch. Going around slapping women. Every time I log onto YouTube, I'm destroying and slapping and finishing on people. If you didn't know who I was, you would think I was some like psychopathic rapist. And then you click on the video and it's just like I posted a tweet. Anyway, back to the point. When a citizen changes their mind on something, that's totally normal, that's totally natural. Many things can happen in the span of years that can change your mind on something. It's perfectly normal to evolve and grow. And it's fine if you're a politician and you change your mind on something, but, and this is a big but, this is a fat ass. If you're a politician and you change your mind on something, I want to know exactly why you changed your mind. When you changed your mind. Be transparent. What about woke 1, really woke 2 in my opinion, don't you agree with anymore? Why didn't the interviewer ask AOC that question? Like, what was crazy about woke 1? Trans women are women, DEI, white privilege, defund the police, the Green New Deal, like what? What? Tell us. What? Tell the class. I've talked about this a few times in a few videos, but one example of me changing my mind, I was way more critical of the police back in like 2020, like borderline ACAB. I was also single, depressed, living in my parents' basement, smoking weed every day, but I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. I can tell you that moving from the suburbs to the city, taking public transportation, having a kid, seeing firsthand how bad things are and how bad things can get, actually experiencing the world outside of my bubble is what changed my mind on that topic and a whole bunch of other topics. So I want to know, AOC and other politicians, what about woke 1 do you disagree with now? What's sad is if this was like 5 years ago, I'd be like, hell yeah, AOC has finally seen the light. Woke is bad, so true. Now we can get real things done, comrade. But it's not 5 years ago. I'm a grown-up now, and this is extremely pathetic. As a politician, you need to be transparent. I'm gonna bird hands at you. Be transparent. The people who act like we need to be apologizing for shit our ancestors did 400 years ago, acting like 2020 never happened. I'm not buying it, sorry. These issues were f***ing like existential to these people a few years ago, and now it's just like, no big deal. It was just a phase, Mom. I was just a silly 30-year-old teenage politician. My concern isn't really that Democrats are admitting this stuff was wrong and deeply unpopular. My concern is I don't see anything preventing from that happening again. There's literally some assemblywoman in Brooklyn right now running on some woke 1-ass shit as we speak, talking about how stealing should be legal, actually.
No one should be arrested, much less jailed, for stealing a tube of toothpaste. Incarceration separates people from their jobs, support service, and loved ones. It perpetuates a cycle of poverty and crime, no matter how much fear-mongering the right-wing media does.
These people aren't stealing toothpaste because they have to brush their teeth. These people are stealing things in bulk to sell on Facebook Marketplace. We have food banks, food stamps, charity for poor people who can't actually afford toothpaste. If I could go back in time and tell myself one thing, it would be, criminals are not Aladdin. Criminals are not Aladdin. Criminals are not Aladdin! And it would make everyone's lives incredibly easier if there was actually some deterrent against crime. Yes. Otherwise, what's the point? Why should anyone go to work and spend their hard-earned money when we can just steal? Crime is legal now! Laws. Drunk driving is not illegal on stolen land. I don't think they understand just how incomprehensible some of their worldview actually is.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending in absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing.
We're hypothetical. That's the entire idea. That's the entire policy, and you can't explain it? Abolish prisons. Where do the bad people go?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, okay. In a functioning society, people like that would be forced to dig ditches in a work camp forever. Useless. Sorry I'm cutting out so hard in this video. I'm in my luteal phase. I have a fucking pimple. I have a pimple. For the first time in like 15 years, I'm stressing out so hard. What the f? Anyway, despite the Republicans completely dropping the ball right before midterms, surprise! War in the Middle East forever! The sudden walk back about woke 1 clearly shows the Democrats are still struggling with PR. If only there was some sort of left-wing Joe Rogan
people think I'm the king of woke 1.0, that I was Mr. Radlib, right? I never was. I have a pretty open mind to unlimited progress, but I also understand how people operate. Like I never did the Latinx thing. Like I have been dark woke before dark woke was invented. Like this is the headquarters of dark woke.
Not the dude who called me emo, calling himself dark woke. What the actual fuck is dark woke?
What is dark woke?
Dark woke is just Democrats are just as woke as we were in woke 1.0. The messaging is what's important. It is aggressive.
The entire idea of dark woke seems to be that regular woke was too polite and too wholesome.
Dark woke for me is we are fighting for good and for equality and for social justice for everybody, but we don't mind saying F you.
Dark woke, get it? It's like woke, but we're mean. You already are mean! That's why people hated you! You were finger-wagging, morally righteous woke scolds. The problem was never that the left was insufficiently mean online. God forbid someone say the wrong word, liked the wrong tweet, or failed to participate in the latest virtue signal humiliation ritual. And I'm sorry, can we just go back to the Hassan clip real quick?
I have a pretty open mind to unlimited progress.
What the does unlimited progress mean? Considering these guys think progress is like a literal linear line where just more and more people get rights. So like what the does that mean? Pedophile rights, zoophile rights? What unlimited progress are we talking about here, buddy? Because that sounds pretty woke to me. We did so much progress to the gender discussion. We somehow looped back around to little boys liking pink means they're gay. But wokely, no son of mine is gonna play with Barbies. That must mean he's a girl. You people are lost in the sauce.
Men's Army's aide, his top aide, Sia Weaver, said if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over. And impoverish the white middle class.
Beast mode. I love her so much. One of the things about Zoran is that the people surrounding him oftentimes are so much cooler than he is.
I like how in the video where he defends himself from people criticizing that clip, he's like, guys, come on, it was just a joke, guys, come on. In the description of that video, he's like, anti-white racism, which doesn't exist. Definitely not woke one. All right, buddy. Sorry. It's so hard not to just make the entire video clowning on that goofball. Like, bro was in a suit at a pool party. The man is a cartoon character. I don't want to make videos about Hassan Piker, but you can't fucking escape him nowadays because the media won't shut the fuck up about him. Fox News is just hyper-focusing on him every single day to go after the Democrats because I guess they have nothing else. And then the response to all the Hassan stuff coming out on the right, coming out on Fox News, is then like left-wing journalists making more puff pieces, taking more photo shoots of Hassan in his mansion, and all these outlets calling him like a terrorist and a communist just makes him sound way more important and like way cooler than he actually is. Nothing hurts this dude more than reminding him that he is literally just a Twitch streamer. I don't want the focus of American politics to center around a f***ing Twitch streamer. Like, I don't understand the media's obsession with this guy, but at the same time, I don't think Hassan is the best wagon to hitch yourself to if you're the Democratic Party. There are other internet celebrities on the left you could do that with. Like, God, the left really has nobody. No, he's a sex pest. No, she's a sex pest. Damn it. I don't know. There's gotta be someone with way less baggage than Hassan Piker. Like, why don't you hitch your wagon to someone like that? Instead of Hassan, who, every time he's rightfully criticized, hides behind how he just wants to give us health care. Death to the West! Let the streets run with their capitalist blood! Whoa, dude, you're making us look bad. Oh, I'm just a little healthcare boy! You wouldn't criticize a little healthcare boy now, would you? I don't care anymore. I wash my hands of this. There's gonna be like 25 videos uploaded after this, like shoe on head bends Hassan over and f***s like, great. Can't wait. Remember that big study we talked about that was done after the Democrats lost the election that showed the most popular Democrat positions were things related to economic issues, and the least popular policies were things like abolishing the police, abolishing prisons, and like open border policies? People don't want to abolish the police. They do not want to abolish prisons. They don't want to talk about whiteness or whatever the talk to actual workers about them. Like, talk to actual blue-collar workers. They hate this shit. And they hate you. They hate you because you suck, but they also hate you because you hate them. Like I said 500 billion times before, more people would be on board with what the left was saying, or at least like sit down and listen to you, if you dropped the gay race Marxist bullshit. How do I know this? The DSA and the left and the Democrats, they have to distance themselves from the goofy, destructive, identity politics, asocial bullshit. And in order to do that, you actually have to mean it, not just laugh it off. But I don't think they can, because this stuff is just so deeply ingrained in socially progressive politics. A lot of this stuff isn't woke one. It's just part of dismantling whiteness and the patriarchy, destroying hierarchies, subverting norms, or whatever the that cancel Thanksgiving tweet wasn't just some like silly haha woke one bullshit. But you know, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is what I've been asking for a decade. Maybe this is a new era for the Democrats. Could AOC actually have changed her mind? Yes, it's totally possible, yes. AOC and I are like the same age. She's like a year older than me. She's still pretty young. 35 is young, right? It's not impossible that in her time being a politician, her mind has changed on a few things. But it lines up suspiciously well with a run for president in 2028. So forgive me if I'm a little bit skeptical. I see a lot of Republicans online like, do it, AOC, run for president. Don't get too cocky. You may be surprised. The American people are an enigma, and we might see a pretty big pendulum swing. As hard as it is for some hyper-partisan brained people to hear, not everyone voting for these DSA candidates are like crazy commies or something. Just like not everyone who voted for MAGA in 2016 when Trump promised to bring jobs back and he will remember the forgotten man and whatever. Those people weren't Nazis. When people can't afford a house, a car, to get married, to have kids, you cannot be shocked when they start looking for options outside of the establishment. Huey Long, one of my favorite politicians, believed that if people had their needs met and were content and happy and had jobs and could feed their families, communism or fascism would never come to America because people would have no reason to revolt or want those things. They would be happy with what they had. He believed that extreme economic inequality created political instability. And as the economy continues to go to shit and wages don't increase, and retards like Dan Crenshaw respond to these issues with basically let them eat ramen, we are going to see people moving to all different directions on the political spectrum. Personally, until there's a Democratic Party that isn't prisoner to identity politics or isn't completely cucked by race grievance, I'm not a Democrat. And until there's a Republican Party that actually cares about workers and isn't completely cucked to a certain foreign country, I'm not a Republican. I'm trying to look like Hassan. I look like a femboy. Wait, hold on.
Hi, my name is Sok.
I look like I would be groomed on Discord. What the actual Alright, I need to get out of this. I need to get out of this. In conclusion, I do not like seeing politicians run from accountability. I like transparency. If you change your mind on something, tell me why. This woke one, woke two is a headache. I am done with it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's a chance AOC is being genuine? Are you willing to believe politicians who have said they've changed their mind on things? Have you changed your mind on things since like 2020? If so, what? If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. All patrons get every single video a day early with no censors, no bleeps, totally raw. Also, I'm doing Patreon only live streams now. I'm planning the next one very soon, so I would love to see you guys there. And for everybody else, I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye!
Oh, nice.
I'm not here to educate you.
No, then what are you here for? Convention slop.
I was already sick of seeing these things at conventions, but now they're showing up at the makers markets that I go to in my free time, and I hate them even more. That's it, that's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda, you're watching Small Entertainment. I go to a lot of events. Okay, I make a lot of content here on YouTube, on this channel even, of events, of conventions and gatherings and things that I go to and review for you, okay? And so in doing that, my breadth of my own personal
Stefan. Who knows perfect law? I was Toho, what do you mean? Dark woke. AI scams? I wanna see.
So just recently, quite a few stories came out about AI grifters presenting their generated work as real art at art conventions and artist alleys. I've had a lot of artist friends reach out to me recently to cover this topic, and I don't go to these conventions regularly, so I'm not always super plugged into these issues, but the more I looked into this, the more just absolutely disgusted I've become. So the first scam here happened at Dragon Con, which I believe is a convention that takes place every Labor weekend in Georgia. So as a shopper, you might assume that this is a safe space where you can support every single genuine local artist at the venue, but unfortunately that's not the case. So this AI prompter actually scanned their way into Dragon Con, taking up a very large table space. And when the staff found out that they were actually an AI prompter, staff had come in, security had come in, and they were escorted out. So my fellow YouTuber Inkball actually did a really good video coverage on this topic, and I want to just play some clips so you guys can get some context.
Dragon Con is typically one of my favorite events of the year. However, they definitely had an AI issue this year as there was multiple vendors trying to get away with selling AI material and passing it off as genuine artwork. Regardless of how you feel about generative AI, it is simply against the terms and service of a lot of these art events. Collectors and general attendees go to these events thinking that the halls are vetted and that the work is done by professional artists. But we're going to focus on this bozo for the moment. I'm not sure when the attendees and artists started noticing that something wasn't quite on the up and up with this booth, but from what I was told by staff, they were notified on Saturday evening towards the end of the day, right before the hall was about to close, and confronted those in question. Now, if you look at the floor plan for the Pop Artist Alley, the artist that is listed goes by the name Oriana. Looking at this booth, Oriana is nowhere to be found. As this was all taking place, people were able to notice on their story in their Instagram that they were in Europe. Not physically being present at the event goes against Dragon Con's terms of service as an artist. When staff and artists confronted those running the booth about this and questioned them about these very mid-journey looking images, the man running the table said that he was Oriana's boyfriend and that half the work was his, and that's why the styles were different. And when pressed further, he said it was actually a gallery collective, that Oriana's father and mother had also been artists, and that's why every piece had no cohesiveness.
Now, one of the most suspicious things here, aside from maybe all of the AI artifacts that you might see when you look closely at one of these paintings, is the lack of a distinct style from this artist. And that's not to say every single artist needs to have a super unique and distinct style, but usually at these artist alleys, if you just glance across the booths, you can kind of tell that each artist has left their own fingerprint on their work, and they usually have a pretty unified visual aesthetic, which is clearly not the case here. You've got surrealism with the flowers and the woman, and then you've got very 2D looking anime art combined with almost hyper-realism in the Joker painting, and then you pan down and you see Superman, which is a lot more rugged and graffiti-like, and it's very disconnected. It's lacking harmony, lacking cohesion, and it looks like it's been produced by multiple people. And if we just take a still from this footage, you can see this is happening with all the other pieces in this booth as well. You've got hyper-realism on 3D Batman, vibrant two-dimensional pop art on a fake Vogue poster in the Vogue frame, and then you've got like a very cartoony and simplified look for Snoopy on the top right corner. Now, if you think that there's a chance this was actually done by a real artist, here, check this out.
When the staff confronted the people at Oriana's booth, they denied it and produced a quote-unquote process video. A very questionable process video. A process video with lots of jump cuts that doesn't actually show any processes, just still images. You just go from this to this. That's how art is made, clearly. One that non-artists might not catch right away, but one that anybody who has actually drawn anything would understand that this doesn't prove anything.
I wouldn't say this doesn't prove anything. This actually proves that this was done with AI. Again, see, this is what makes me so mad about these grifters, is that they are not targeting people who already know art. They're not targeting artists. Their goal is to target the people who just don't know any better, who want to go to these conventions, who want to support the local community, who might not fully understand the process of art making, and they might show them these process videos and just try to con them and make them think that they drew the entire thing. For anybody who's ever drawn anything in their life, you're gonna look at a process video like this and you're gonna know it's fake. Absolutely nobody draws like this, and there's no
artist could have been in that spot. I'm also sure that they made a lot of money and misled a lot of buyers.
And unfortunately, I believe they did, because if you look at RJ Palmer's original X post, the account associated with this grifter, OG Art Official, which is such an ironic name by the way, someone had posted a story calling them out, and they replied in the DM saying, "Cheers, I'd share a screenshot of my sales this weekend, but don't have to show it. Give any explanations to you losers." And they then sent a message saying, "You guys are sore because you don't sell shit and will be forever broke. Have fun being a broke bitch." This just goes to show the mentality of some of these people. You know, they are literally fraudsters and scammers. They're here to make a quick buck at the artist's expense, and there seems to be absolutely zero remorse for the people they've actually conned.
And conventions need to be aware of this and be prepared on how to handle it when it arises.
Now, you guys know my take on this. I really don't mess with AI generated images, but at the end of the day, you know, it's someone
to just kick out somebody like James.
Mulligan, as you guys can see here, has quite a few followers, and he seems to be someone who's a little bit more established in the community already, which is what makes this second case even more insidious.
Looking at some of James' work, you will see that the base of his pieces looks legitimate, but then the rest of it is clearly fed through an AI generator to give it its finishing touches. It looks to me he likes to avoid putting in any real work to his backgrounds. So on the surface level, it's not as clear-cut to a showrunner to just kick out somebody like James. But looking at his work, there's clearly AI usage, allegedly, in my opinion, for those who have eyes. And it was clear at DragonCon this weekend by anybody who passed their booth that his work is getting more aggressive into the AI usage, or at least it's getting more blatant. He also removed over half of the images on his gallery wall after people in the DragonCon Pop Artist Alley started noticing something didn't feel right. A week before DragonCon, at a different event in New York, Twitter user ToonEmu said, "Hey, so this guy at Anime NYC just blatantly lied to me about not using Gen AI in his work, then scammed my mom off of several $100s in prints." Emu said that she questioned James at the event about his AI usage. He ended up pulling out his tablet, and she said that you could see that the character was drawn within Procreate, but that the background was copy-pasted in. The part that clearly has the AI tells, with some of the books melding together unnaturally.
This is very blatantly obvious to anybody who's ever drawn anything, you know, just the warping of the shelves.
I'm a foreground artist, not a background artist.
AI-generated artifacts.
Oh, that's too
My
loud.
biggest problem with this is the fact that this is somebody who's using their established name, their established identity to sell work that was made with generative AI without, you know, telling, communicating, fully disclosing to his customers that this is the workflow that he used. As somebody who values clear, concise, and direct communication in all aspects of life, this baffles me. And this absolutely makes my blood boil, because I have tons of friends who do conventions for a living. And people like this, people like James C. Mulligan here, are taking valuable spots away from artists who deserve it so much more. You have no idea how devastating it could be to someone to not be able to get into one of these big shows. You know, it might affect their entire annual income. And then you have people like James here, people like the previous scammer, who just waltz in there with their slop. Complete lack of transparency of their workflow, just grifting money from the people who are actually there to support local artists. It's disgusting.
RJ Palmer, who was also at the Pop Artist Alley, said, "This guy is at DragonCon selling AI images. Personally saw him making a $500 plus sale. He isn't just scamming, he is thriving while scamming. Truly vile work." And again, this leads back into the misrepresentation and misleading collectors and general attendees on what you're selling.
Now again, if you're at one of these conventions and there's somebody who is just setting off your alarm bells, you can always ask them in a nice way to see their process, because this stuff is pretty easy to prove. All you need to do is show a time lapse of you actually making the drawing. And that's exactly what this user on X did. I then asked him if I could see the time lapse replay, but he told me he didn't record one. I have made over 700 illustrations using Procreate, so I know for a fact that it automatically saves a time lapse replay. I told him this and offered to show him how to access the and he then got mad at me and told me to leave. I got into a bad fight with my mom about it after, since he tricked her into thinking his process was all his own and that he did not use Gen AI. For any of you guys who are not sure, the refusal to show any process work is a humongous red flag. And for anybody who's an artist out there right now, if you have not started recording the process for your drawings, do it now. Even if you don't like recording every single drawing, just keep a couple of them on hand from beginning to finish to show people that you're legit. Now, it's very unfortunate that we as artists are forced to do this right now. We're forced to kind of prove our innocence, but this is just the state of things. You know, you got to look out for yourself. When somebody else reached out to ask about this specific issue, James actually threatened legal action. In your statement, you mentioned photos and process videos proving your work. Could you please share those for clarity? James says, no, at this point, we think the best course of action is to have our legal reach out to you. What's a good email for them to contact you? Again, just a threatening tactic, dodging the question. As an artist, record your process videos, show your process videos. When someone questions you, it's very, very easy to prove your innocence that way. Now, unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so because he was guilty. He was guilty of scamming people out of their money, and he was guilty of pretending like he didn't use Gen AI when he clearly did. And man, I freaking hate scammers and grifters. Like, all of that energy that you put into doing this fraud, you could have put that energy into drawing. How about putting that energy, James, into learning how to draw?
That's too much energy.
Instead of trying to fake process videos, instead of trying to lie to every single person who comes up to your booth and then just happily taking their money, knowing that you've lied to them and you've just taken business away from some other artists who are way more deserving of it than you. Now, the third and final story is actually very local to me. This is Fan Expo Canada, which happened in Toronto, right on my very own stomping grounds. And I cannot believe I missed this because a couple of my friends who were at this convention told me that they spotted tons of AI generated art there. And after doing some research into this topic, apparently Fan Expo allows their vendors in the artist alleys to use AI generated content and sell AI generated content, which is just absolutely wild to me. Here's an article from Now Toronto. Fan Expo Canada has not publicly stated policy on the sale of AI generated art, leaving it unclear if vendors are allowed to sell it, which means they are allowed. If you don't mention it, obviously they're allowed to do it. Some people have commented, note that Fan Expo is a corporate
all art is allowed.
Ones like Anime North are actually fan cons that are non-profit, which is also why they allowed that Bell AI picture booth care more about the check than the actual fans. So of course it's a very money-driven scheme. All they care about is that all the tables are booked up and all the booths are sold. Apparently like a quarter of stalls were all selling AI artwork. Took opportunities away from real artists to sell AI slop. Someone said ban AI from all markets, expos, or make it mandatory to disclose that it was made with AI. And I 100% agree with that. Either ban it outright or make it mandatory to communicate and disclose. Someone else who was there said the AI art didn't even look good or as good as actual artists' work there. And there was definitely more than just a quarter of the artist alley, more like 1/3 to 1/2 of it was. Now I personally didn't attend this event, so I didn't get to see this for myself, but based on all of the feedback from people online, it seemed like this was a real problem there. And what really concerns me is I don't know how many casual convention goers go into these artist alleys expecting there to be real artists who actually drew the work without even realizing that they're being conned out of their money by people who just type in prompts and pretend to be real artists. It's crazy. Oh, what's even worse about this, it's so bad it's almost comical, is that this company, this Canadian monopoly company called Bell, decided to host a free photo booth as a part of their advertisement campaign, except there's one catch, okay? You take a picture of yourself and this Gen AI turns you into a anime character. This Gen AI photo booth was actually placed directly near where the artist alley was, which is just a huge slap in the face. Now their official statement is the booth featured original ethnically sourced content with no copyrighted material and no misuse of likeness. Local artists contributed original sketches for poses, angles, and compositions, and all design overlays were handcrafted. It was designed purely as a fun souvenir for fans, and we received a lot of positive feedback from people who lined up to enjoy the experience. So you're more than welcome to take that corporate speak at face value like they want you to. Now, unfortunately, I've just recently become aware of this issue, but apparently it's been going on even longer than I expected. So this is from 1 year ago, and somebody said, please research exhibitors before buying. Now, this is a very important tip, and I'm gonna echo this in just a second. I made a mistake that I even tried to take precautions for. There's a vendor called Wall Nostalgia, but they also go by Evoked. They have a bunch of canvas prints, and they even claim to license out the art, even listing the artist's name, in this case, Sato K. I thought I would be supporting both a small business and an artist, but maybe not.
Yeah, let's see this. I wonder what this is about.
So I had the delusional idea to test 3 popular art-related side hustles to see which one is the hardest and if they really are worth trying. So let's go. As always, here's the game plan. For the first side hustle, we're starting off a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. That is why we're starting off with wallpapers. The next one is kind of a secret and I want to keep it that way for now, but I'll tell you one thing, it's capybara related, okay? That's all I'm saying right now. It will be revealed very, very soon, don't worry. And moving on to the last side hustle, I was thinking of doing something planner journal related. At this moment, I don't have a solid idea, but these are just a few keywords that I was thinking about for the last one. Again, I'm clearly procrastinating, but I'll figure it out when I get there. And after completing each of them, we're gonna answer the big question, is it worth it and was it hard to do? Also, just a heads up, during this video, I'm gonna have a lisp on and off because sometimes I'm wearing my retainer, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm wearing my Invisalign like I am right now. So if I sound a little bit inconsistent, that is why. Thank you. Okay, let's go into the first side hustle. Alright, one of the most important steps I think is research. So into Sale Samurai, I typed in phone wallpaper, and what they help us do is organize a lot of trending topics, trending keywords in a very organized way. Not just in Google, but also in Etsy. And I like this because you don't necessarily need to connect your Etsy store to see the data. Data? I don't know, what do you guys say? But still, it's like, you know, it's good to know what people are searching up on Etsy. Here we can see in Google, phone wallpaper has a very high search volume, but low competition. That is good. That is what we need. Oh, you can see specifically iPhone wallpaper has about like what, quadruple the amount of search volume? Wow. All right, I think we have a winner so far. Motivational phone wallpaper is doing quite well. Okay, maybe something to do with motivation. And smart phone, oh, smart. I thought they meant like, how can I have a wallpaper that makes me look smart? And then I read it out loud and they meant like smartphone. Okay, that was me being stupid. And for the Etsy, people are kind of searching up similar things. iPhone wallpaper, phone wallpaper. But phone wallpapers has a pretty moderate search volume with low competition. Oh, okay. If we scroll down even more, we can see what people are liking. So people seem to like, you know, neutral beiges, cottage core, just basic iPhone wallpaper, cute aesthetic. Okay, now with a better understanding, let's move on to design. So if you've seen one of my previous videos, I have tried drawing and making phone wallpapers before, and they turned out super cute, by the way. Check them out if you want to, but I wanted to make this one a little bit different. So in order to do that, we're gonna try and go for a more graphic design angle. Basically, less drawing, more graphic artistic design route, which actually posed more of a challenge for me because I have no experience in graphic design. Now, since we did a little bit of research beforehand, we know that iPhone wallpapers, motivational, and aesthetic type core is pretty trendy, viral at the moment. You know what? I'm indecisive and I like to give myself more work and challenges than I need to, so I'm going to try them all. So specifically, I chose to do 3 types of wallpapers, and if you know me, I gotta throw in some extra challenges. So for my first design, I was thinking of creating a sleek MP3 inspired iPhone wallpaper. And the challenge for this one is I like messy drawing. I don't know if I can do sleek graphic design art, if you know what I mean. The second design are affirmations and motivational quotes, and the challenge for this one is I have no eye when it comes to like the art of text. This is very text heavy. And the last one is a Y2K inspired wallpaper, but I want to make it black and white. That is the challenge. I don't know if I can capture that like colorful Y2K core in black and white, but I have like a blurry vision of it in my head, so I'm gonna try and see how it goes. It could either go really good or really bad. So I got a screenshot of my lock screen so I can make sure that this is peeking out of that black box. I started off with the MP3 player because I knew that this one would be the most challenging for me. I don't know if you can see the vision, but something like this. So your lock screen looks like an MP3 player. Now the dynamics and look of what I was going for really required that graphic design eye, which knows where to put like straight lines, vector imaging, space placement, all that. You see, I don't even know the correct terms. Okay, I don't know if I like it with this dark ring or without the the ring. I don't know, they're both a vibe. I'm kind of leaning towards this one now. Why is this actually so cute? I didn't think I would like it, but I actually do like it. Okay, let me try it out on my phone. Okay, this is actually so cute. I think I will need to go back and change the borders just so the widgets can fit. But aside from that, this is giving such like a fresh, airy, futuristic yet nostalgic look. I don't know how to describe it, but I like it. And this is the final look. I actually really liked how it turned out. I didn't think it would look this good, but I quite like it. So I did a few other color combinations as well, which leads us to, is it hard? I would give it like a medium. And is it worth trying? Yes, but again, I like messy stuff, so the sleek was a little bit tricky. After the MP3 player was done, I moved on to the affirmation and motivational quote wallpaper pack. But now that I think about it and did a little bit more research, I think they're called aura circles. Like this, it's kind of like an emanating orb of color. Also, I did not mean to do this. Like, my name is Viora, and this is like aura. It, you know, it kind of matches. So I would have these aura circles in the back and then just an affirmation or motivational quote in front of it. See, this is where my graphic design skills or lack thereof make this hard, is because like, do these fonts go together? I feel like someone with a good graphic design eye and skill knows what looks good together. I don't know if this goes together. Okay, I stared at it for a long time and I think it's growing on me, so I'm just gonna go with this. Though to be completely honest, personally, this one felt just a little bit off to me because it felt like I myself as an artist wasn't doing much besides just like moving some text around. But I think in the end it still managed to take me a little bit more than an hour. Again, this one I feel like it wasn't as personal because I didn't really draw anything. So even though we have a phone set, an iPad set, and a desktop wallpaper set, I think I'll just price them at like $2. Somehow it still took me 55 minutes, about an hour, to design these 12 wallpapers, but look at this. Okay, so this is the iPad version. Yeah, this one's cute. I like the color combination of this one. Wow, okay, my room is really dark right now, but look at that, it's just emanating. All right, and testing it out on the desktop wallpaper. The color looks better in person, I will say that. The lighting in my room is terrible, but wow, that 4K quality. So were these hard to do? Not at all. Is it worth trying? Sure, but it could be boring. So this is probably going to be the fastest and shortest segment ever in any of my YouTube videos, but stay till the end for a surprise. But basically this one just turned out a lot simpler and faster than I had expected. I think it's because I went for kind of a doodle theme, and doodles are quite fast and easy, I think, to design. So using the kawaii brush set, I did some sparkles, some shooting stars here and there. This is what I have at the moment. I don't know if I like this girl over here. I don't know if she ruins that like Y2K vibe. Everything else I think is decent. It's like a cute doodle vibe. I added a little delusional ideas thing here. I think that's super cute. Okay, let's test it out on the phone. And voila, here we go. This one genuinely took like 30 minutes to make, less than an hour. And here is the surprise. Sorry, it's not a great surprise, but free download if you want to try it out. It's free for download in the description. And I also added a lot more colors, and you get them all for free because this genuinely didn't take me a long time, and just wanted to say thank you for watching this far. And just keep watching because throughout the video there could be some more fun freebies, side challenges, who knows. So overall, was this hard? Not at all. Is it worth trying? Yeah, I love a good doodle design. Now, I've done a few of these side hustle videos before, but all of them were 100% solo work, so I did them all on my own based on my very limited skills in drawing, design, and digital art. So I thought, why not switch it up a bit and expand the meaning of art-related side hustle, which led me to crochet patterns. Specifically, I wanted to make a beginner's capybara crochet pattern. Now, this is quite a common side hustle for crocheters because if you go online, you can see a bunch of people selling lovely crochet pattern. But here's the major challenge for me. I do not know how to crochet. Now, my grandma is the crochet master, as you can see. So you're probably like, okay, then how is this a major challenge? Well, she doesn't look at patterns, which means she doesn't know how to translate her crochet skills into a written tutorial that people can follow. This is what a basic crochet pattern could look like, by the way. So if you're trying to make this bunny, they have a section for how to crochet the arms, and there's like a bunch of numbers and abbreviations that I don't really understand understand. So turning my idea of a crochet capybara into reality was going to be a lot harder than I thought. And the problem that we had to overcome was this huge gap of knowledge. Okay, so pretend my grandma is a world-renowned pianist who just plays without sheet music, and a young student wants to learn how to play a song that my grandma made up. Pianist grandma wouldn't know how to teach this student because she doesn't know how to turn the song from her brain knowledge into sheet music in which the student or many other students can look at and slowly learn and master. So we need a person who can both play piano and know how to write sheet music. So that's where I was stuck. I had the idea and the concept of a crocheted capybara. My grandma has the skill to make the crochet capybara, and we are just missing this middleman that knows how to translate grandma's capybara crochet brain knowledge into the commonly known crochet pattern tutorial language. And that is where my mom comes in. So my superhero amazing mom knew how to crochet maybe 15 years ago and never touched a crochet needle since. Until now. I kid you not. My mom relearned how to crochet. My mom not only relearned how to crochet, but also borrowed a crochet book from the library and self-taught herself how to write crochet patterns. So this pattern is just so special to me. It really is just three generations of women, my grandma, my mom, and I, just coming together to create this capybara. And we went through so many different capybara prototypes. I think maybe like 5 in total. And we were going back and forth, buying more yarn. My mom was crocheting 24/7. Oh yeah, at one point we almost gave up and thought we could just make a crocheted onion instead, but it didn't have that it factor. It's not bad, but I really want to do a capybara. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep trying to make the capybara. Though this is still kind of cute. And we were also FaceTiming my grandma to make sure that we were on the right track. And trust me, they're both very particular. I was like, Mom, this capybara is so cute. We can just go with this one. And she's like, no, I will make it better. I will make another one. So it was several weeks of just a lot of collaboration and back and forth until finally, all three of us really liked this final outcome. But we're not done yet. So now that my mom and grandma's work is done, it is now my turn. So I took my mom's notes and typed them into a neat document, and we finally have the finished product, a capybara crochet pattern. But we weren't done just yet, because I learned when making a crochet pattern you need pattern testers, and I've been posting little sneak peeks on my Instagram stories for a bit now, so I reached out on Instagram and found a few people that were so kind enough to help me be pattern testers. And here are their finished capybaras. They are all so cute. I was so excited to see them. So again, thank you everyone who reached out to help. I did take all their suggestions, so now this pattern has been tested, has been reviewed, and it is basically ready. Now, even though this process took a lot of work and time, I think in total from beginning to end this entire project took about 3 weeks to a month. It obviously wouldn't make sense to make it super expensive because, well, we wanted it to be accessible and affordable, and after the research we did as well. Alright, so I typed in crochet pattern and we can see here, okay, the competition is high. Very high. Okay, however, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It's also a good thing because people are, you know, searching it up. So it seems specifically people like beginner, easy, amigurumi. That just means like cute little crochet pattern, right? Oh, and even further down here, we can see how much roughly they are selling for. Okay, this is good because I always have trouble pricing. So it seems like it's between the like $5 range, $4 to $8. But again, free shipping, am I right? Now, specifically, I have my vision set on a capybara crochet pattern, so let's see that. Oh dear, okay, Google competition once again, still quite high. This is a good thing to know though. That means people are actively searching up, you know, capybara crochet patterns. So high search volume in Etsy and also Google as well. Again, jumping into the deep end. I'm excited, let's go. Hello, it is now present day Viora again. I can't believe that was 2 months ago when we did that research, and now we have a finished product. So before I rudely interrupted myself, we were talking about the price, which I ended up putting it at $6.50 on my website. And overall, was it hard? Yes, it was very hard and time consuming, but very, very, very rewarding in my case. And is it worth trying? Yes, if you know crochet. I decided to design a planner for my final side hustle. Research time for yearly planner. Again, very high competition, which makes sense. We all want to be organized. So it seems like people want like a digital version, like a template version, one that you can print out. Yeah, so we can see here they have a PDF printable one, a printable one, another printable one. Okay, so maybe we should try doing a printed one, which makes sense, you know, reduce shipping costs. Undated planner, that is also another keyword that I saw a lot. Printable, undated planner might work, something like that. Okay, so we are done our final research session. Here's a croissant to celebrate. Yeah, so we're finished our final research session with Sale Samurai. Again, thank you so much for sponsoring this segment of the video. If you also want to try a great research engine for your online side hustle, check out the description where you can try a 3-day free trial and then get 20% off with the code VIORA. Okay, but now on to design, because we got something quite special. So we saw in our research that the search volume for planner was very high. The search volume was also very high for the capybara, but we decided to plow through that anyways. But then for this one, I decided instead of doing the same thing with the planner, I thought we could make some slight adjustments so we weren't just like diving into the deep end. So instead of just a basic planner with calendars and notes, I kind of wanted to turn it into a 2-year creative journal, planner, life and self-care journal type thing. Okay, I know that might seem really confusing, but let me explain. So you know, like planners are everywhere. There's probably hundreds, thousands of planners that are just everywhere. So instead of doing the exact same thing, okay, hopefully this diagram makes more sense. But basically for the next 2 years, for every single month, it's gonna be kind of like a prompt. In this case, favorite song. So in 2026, you're just gonna write down your favorite songs of January. And then there's gonna be a February, March, April, yada yada. And then in 2027, you do the same thing. Like, have you ever thought back to like March 2024 and you're like, dang, what was the vibe that month? Like, what was I doing? What was I into? Also, yes, this is highly inspired by my notes app where I just write down all the songs that I just cannot stop listening to for each month. Like 2021, oh my gosh, that was so long ago. But then when I look at these and I'm like, oh yeah, that was the vibe of March. Now with this life journal planner, you will remember. Of course, it's not going to be just songs because your notes app is right there. I wanted it to be a little bit more creative and interactive. So I thought about doing a self-portrait page where you can
Oh yeah, I was supposed to watch Lost Pause, right?
I tried all these free drawing apps so you don't have to. Then I rated them on a tier list based on how good they would be for someone starting out with digital art. But even if you've been trying digital art for a while, you might want to try out something different. But there are so many options to choose from. So let me break down what I think about them. We'll try Krita first, how about? This is literally my very first time opening Krita, so I have no idea what to expect. Okay, I'm gonna test a couple of brushes now. Oh, I love this brush. Okay, so the default brushes, I like them, 10 out of 10. So what does the liquefy brush look like? Oh, there it is. I mean, it's not great, but I think it does the job, right? Okay, we have a lasso tool, except I don't know how to make it work. How do I, maybe I transform it and then move it? Transform tool. I guess that works. So Krita seems to be a perfectly competent little app. After changing a few hotkeys, I'm up in sketching already, so I don't mind this. If I press Ctrl plus Enter, I get a command palette of all Krita actions. Let me try. Oh, that is everything. Oh, I like this! Oh, this is just like a programming IDE. Gaussian blur. Oh, shoot! Wait, I love that. Wait, that's so cool. This is apparently free. So my overall impression of Krita, this is heavy software, okay? There's a lot going on. Krita has a lot of really cool brushes. In the default brush feel, it wins a lot. Like, I'd say this is like a 10 out of 10. It has so many brushes to mess around with, just default brushes. It basically had all of the features I expected for Krita. Like, if we go through here, Krita had layers, it had liquefy, it had lasso tool, transform, all these things, it had everything. Fantastic, okay? I'd say it's not the most intuitive software to begin with. It's very powerful. It can do a lot, but also it kind of lacks identity. It's kind of going in all directions. It can do a lot of things, and you're unlikely to use every single feature. The learning curve is, yeah, a little bit steeper than you'd expect, but at least it has this. So here is the wildcard feature for Krita for me. It has a command selector. If you forgot how to do something like, oh, what do I do? You could just Gaussian blur if you don't remember what it is. Oh, Gaussian blur, easy peasy. And oh, it has a really cool colorize feature as well, where instead of having to fill in flats very laboriously, you can just do something like this, scribble in the colors, and it fills it in for you. Very cool. So I would put Krita, you know what? We're starting pretty strong here, honestly. Yeah. I'm reluctant to give Krita like S right away, but dang, I would say Krita's a really good choice to get started with. All right, next up we have Metabang. Let's see what kind of brushes we have. Let's take a look here. So we have, like, you know, you can control your brush like this. That's pretty cool. Pencil rough. My initial impressions is that the brushes don't seem to be as nice as the ones in Krita right away. Sumi. Ooh, this is a cute pen. I like this one a lot. Okay, we have a textured watercolor brush too, so not bad. They have a little bit too many options. Like, there was like 10 million pencil brushes I thought was a little unnecessary because they all seem very similar, but now that we're getting to the painting brushes, I'm quite happy with them. Yeah, Metabang seems very simple and a little bit more intuitive than Krita. I mean, my personal preference is that there are HSB sliders, but it's not really a deal breaker that I don't have it. Like, what the heck is a color bar? I don't even know who you are. Never seen you. Give me the color wheel. Like, the hotkeys make sense to me. Things are easy to customize. No complaints. So Metabang is a little bit annoying because as soon as you open it, it's like, hey, there's an ad. Hey, log in and stuff. Oh, you need to log in. I'm like, no. So I just want to draw, man. You don't gotta do this to me. I think the one major thing that's in favor of Metabang is that it's a lot more intuitive than Krita. If you're the kind of person who gets kind of overwhelmed by like really complicated software, you don't want to figure out too many features, I think Metabang might be a better fit than Krita. But like Krita, I think it has a lot of really fantastic brushes. A lot of brushes especially inspired by Japanese manga pens, right? We have the G pen, we got the mapping pen, we got the Kabura pen, we got turnip pen, school pen, drawing pen, we got so many pens here. And a bunch of cool pastel and paint brushes as well. And it's also a lot more lightweight than Krita. If you have like a weaker PC, Metabang might work better because it probably consumes less resources. That said, Metabang does not have liquefy. It has a mesh transform, which is kinda almost the same, but it's not the same. So it doesn't have liquefy. Like Krita, if you go through the features, it has layers, layer modes, lasso tool transform, pressure sensitivity, color pick, color wheel, everything works as expected. The brushes, I'd say they're good, almost as good as Krita. Krita has a little bit more selection, but it's 9 out of 10. It probably has anything you'd ever need. But I think where it really shines is that it is very easy to pick up and just start using. I'd say that Metabang, honestly, I think it's S. The only thing bringing it down maybe is the fact that you log in and it has ads and it's slightly annoying. It's free, what do you expect, right? I'm also gonna give this S. And Fire Alpaca, frankly, is the exact same dang thing, okay? Fire Alpaca is the same as Metabang as far as I'm concerned. If you want slightly more brush selection, choose Metabang. If you don't want to deal with the login screens and all the pop-ups, use Fire Alpaca. That simple. Okay, this is where it all goes downhill. GIMP! Core pointer? I don't know what this means. Modules? Yeah, where is the color selector? Yeah, can I have this? Where's the color wheel? Where's the color wheel? Control? No. Maybe just Alt? No. Shift? No. I want to stop. I want to escape. Damn it! Can I just leave the scale tool? It doesn't seem to detect my tablets. I want to do something else, but I'm trapped in the scale tool and I can't get out. This is a disaster. I don't know how to leave the scale tool. These default docks? These are awful. I really can't leave. No, Saxon, not help step pro. I'm stuck in the scale tool. Do not use this as a drawing app. I'm going crazy. Even restarting could not get me out of the scale. I can't draw anymore. It's over. It's over. I can't. unfortunate thing about GIMP is because it's an older piece of software, the tablet compatibility might not be so good. So you might have the same problem I did, which is that I was not able to get pressure sensitivity to work here. That said, it pretty much had every feature you would expect. It had layer modes, it had liquefy, lasso tool, transform, everything except for, well, I couldn't get it to work, but if you're lucky, maybe it'll work. All the stuff, it had all the features. That said, GIMP is very, very clearly photo editing software. If you look at the brushes, they are very limited. You're not going to have the same selection and choice as you're going to have in, like, say, Krita or Fire Alpaca. The one big advantage is we have this amazing pepper brush, okay? Even though we don't have many oil paint brushes or air brushes or like watercolor brushes, who cares about those? We got pepper brushes. And because this isn't drawing software, it's photo editing software, like, when you first enter GIMP, even the color wheel isn't here. You have to go to Windows and mess around with dialogues. You have to spend like ages just kind of dragging windows around to get a sensible layout. Like the color wheel isn't even shown initially. And what's more, why does the color wheel do this? Why is my color wheel doing backflips? Why? I'm so confused. I like my color wheels facing this way specifically, right? You want it more saturated, you move to the left. You want it less saturated, you move to the right. Simple. Yeah, this is a wildcard feature. It's not a good feature. It's just wild. Ease of use, really hard. Intuitive, it's not intuitive at all. Customizability, shortcuts, well, it being open source software, I think there's quite a high level of customizability. You can change your preferences, you can change your, you can change everything you want, I think. So extremely customizable. If you're a real power user, I bet you could get it to work. And if you really love the pepper brush, you could make things happen with this. But as a beginner, I don't think I'd be messing with GIMP, honestly. GIMP is D tier, sorry, easily. Let's see how it feels to draw something with this. Okay, I guess we have liquefy. That's crazy. I can't use any of the hotkeys I'm accustomed to, so it's gonna be a little messy, but we'll try it out. It's not like I can't draw in this. I can definitely draw in this. Okay, let's change the brush. Let's get one of these flat brushes, right? Okay, this brush seems kind of fun. Let's rotate it a bit. Let's change the angle just a little bit, like that. I think I like that, and reduce the size. And now we have a kind of cute brush for inking, right? Brushes overall, I think the variety of brushes obviously isn't as good as most other software. This will do the job. Just not a very good job, you know what I mean? Maybe not? It doesn't have a gap fill kind of feature, so I actually have to do it with it. Ah, that's so annoying! It doesn't have a gap fill feature, so I have to kind of do it by hand. So I think the nicest thing about Photopia is kind of familiarity. If we look at all the features here, Photopia has everything. Layers, layer modes, lasso tool, it has everything you'd expect. Most of these software actually do. If you've used other photoing software, it's fairly intuitive and easy to use. The one problem it has is that I don't think pressure sensitivity is immediately enabled, so you have to press a few buttons to make sure pressure sensitivity is actually active. Like you have to go here, you have to go here, you have to go to tip dynamics, you have to do this. And there's one other major problem. If you move your like windows around and stuff, they don't actually keep what you've changed from session to session. You'll have to redo it every single time. And while you can save your brush controls, there's a couple of hoops you have to jump through in order to do that. One thing where GIMP does better than Photopia is that Photopia has zero customizability. Oh, you want to change a shortcut? Too bad. You can't. I guess Photopia is handy because it works in the browser, so you don't need to install anything, and that's nice, but I feel like if you're seriously getting to digital art, you'd probably want to install something, right? Is this better than GIMP? Yeah, it's better than GIMP, but not by much, for drawing specifically. If you're making shit posts, it's S tier. If you're drawing, I don't think I could recommend this. Okay, let's move on to Ibis Paint, which isn't exactly free, but is a free hour every day, and it's like, you know, it's pretty common and popular. So the basic brushes seem alright to me. Dip, pen, bleed. This one seems to have a nice texture. I love the way these brushes look, so I think I'll be inking with this pen. Genius. Love pen. What's so lovely about this pen? I don't know, I love it too. So a lot of pens that are inspired by manga So how happy my VTuber looks when I draw them in the app is how good I generally feel about the app. So IBIS Paint seems good. I like it. Yeah, out of the box, everything just seems to work. That's great. But technically this isn't free on PC, so... Okay, I could just do this. Wow, that is very, that's a very mobile app vibe, shall we say. We'll put another layer on top. We'll take this and make it less visible. But it does come with some advantages to being a mobile first app. For one, the interface is like super clean, right? Okay, scribble pen. Look how fun this brush is. I love this brush. Look at that, look at that. We're gonna mess with it. It's a pretty comfortable drawing experience, not gonna lie. Mostly because of its simplicity. It is nice that it's so simple. IBIS Paint had an incredible selection of brushes, but this app was very, very clearly designed for the Android and iPad, so then there are a lot of things like, oh boy, like you want to change hotkeys, you want to make it customizable? No, you can't. There are a couple of pre-built-in shortcuts, like I can zoom by doing the scroll wheel, but changing the brush size, I think I can kind of very slowly do it with the square bracket keys. There's a lot of things that you just can't do with hotkeys, like you can't even click on the scroll bar here. You have to kind of swipe like you were doing it on an iPad, which feels a little bit weird in my opinion if you're on a PC. If you prefer and don't mind a mobile interface, IBIS Paint actually makes a lot of sense. It's super intuitive. It's just not very customizable. Like there's actually no settings anywhere where I can see to change your hotkeys. You're just kind of like stuck with how they want you to do things. So I think because of that, for IBIS Paint, I'll kind of give it a B tier. I feel like it's kind of middle of the road. I think it would rate higher for mobile usage, like for iPad and Android tablets. But for PC, having a mobile app here just feels a little bit awkward to me. Okay, next up we have Paint. I mean, do I really gotta open this? Dude, did you know MS Paint has crazy brushes like this? You thought paint was just pixels and stuff? No, I can get a proper painting in here. Look at this stuff, dude. How do I move this around? Oh, easy, dude. Dude, paint is so good. It is so good, actually. This is the easiest thing in my life. So there's clearly no liquefy here. Do we even have a color pick here? Do we have color pick? Oh, we do. We have an eyedropper. All right. I don't think there's a hotkey for it, though, so... Okay, I hate this color picker, but, like, we're gonna have to work with it. So we got no layers, we got no nothing, but I'm sure we can make it work somehow, yeah? Okay. Oh boy, it's actually hard as hell to draw with just like this, actually. I'm having the hardest time right now. How do people draw with one layer? I feel like I could do it if I was just doing a one-layer painting, but now that I have this, well, whatever, I'll just do my best. Is there some way of like color picking hotkeys? No? Okay, I guess not. Okay, I guess not. Alright, that's fine, I guess. I guess that's okay. We'll figure it out. This is so cursed. This is so cursed. MS Paint. Oh boy. I mean, it's definitely the OG, right? Unlike literally everything else here, do we have layers? No. Liquefy? No. Lasso tool? Do we even have a lasso tool? Okay, we do have a lasso tool at least. The color wheel's awful, color picking is awkward, it's kind of a pain. Although there is one thing that Paint has that you might not expect, and that is Paint has pressure sensitivity. Pressing hard, pressing lightly. That's the wild card. I bet you didn't know. It's not a lot, it's not very sensitive, but it absolutely has it. And Paint honestly has cooler brushes than you might expect. This oil paint brush, genuinely pretty goated. I guess it's easy enough to use, mostly because it has no features, okay? When you only have like 3 features total, it's not very hard to use because you can't really mess it up. And I think the lack of layers definitely makes it difficult for someone like me who relies a lot on like line art layers and sketch layers. So for me personally, it's hard to get things done when there's only one layer. It's definitely better for painting if you work with shapes and do everything on one layer. It's called MS Paint, not MS Draw. But yeah, it doesn't have anything, but it does have pen pressure, which is pretty cool, right? But Sadly, for a beginner, I don't think I could recommend it. Sorry, even below GIMP, you probably want something else, something with layers at least. It was nice seeing it though. So I've never tried Artweaver before, we're gonna give it a shot, okay? Really? 300 by 300 pixels is a default? How old is this app? I don't have pressure sensitivity, which is kind of a big deal, but I don't know how to make it work. We'll try painting without pressure sensitivity for now. Okay, we're gonna go with pencil. Pencil? No pencils? Okay, pencil. You think I can't draw without pressure sensitivity? No, I'm able to do it with MS Paint. Don't underestimate. And why does that window keep popping up? Stop. At least it uses a sensible color wheel. Not everything has a sensible color wheel, right? I'm not taking this nice triangular color wheel for granted anymore. What? How is that hard light? That is a lie. What do you mean? What kind of weird hard light calculation is this? We're just gonna... What? So I don't know, Artweaver is really limited because most other tools, when you have the eyedropper, there is an option to select the color from the layer. It looks like there's no way of me doing this here, so that's unfortunate. So if you want to use complicated layer styles, which you probably don't because it doesn't get these layer styles right, it's like, if I want to choose this color again, I actually can't. It's gonna be too dark. Okay, this is it. I'm not spending 1 extra second in Artweaver. Get me out of here. Save me from Artweaver. We're not coming back. So, unfortunately, again, Artweaver for me, I did not manage to get pen pressure support. Maybe you'll be luckier, but